Welcome to Life on Film, a presentation of the 25th National March for Life in Canada. My name is Maeve Roche, and tonight's feature film is I Lived on Parker Avenue. Before we introduce our special guest, here's a lineup of the films we have coming your way.
Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
When I found out I was pregnant and I was, I think, 18, it just felt like a million bricks on top of me.
I knew that today would be the day that I begin my journey to meet my birth parents.
If you have this baby, it'll tear us apart.
I could lose my job asking you this, but are you sure about what you're doing?
This visual pilgrimage to the land of the Bible will inspire and encourage you in your faith as you journey with us through the life of Christ.
I feel like I'm a little girl at a party whose dad's asking her to leave early, and I'm throwing a fit. I'm not afraid of dying. I just don't want to go.
How is it that we can trust an organization for whom abortion is such an important part of their business model to simultaneously effectively prevent pregnancy and prevent abortion?
This riveting case seizes the national spotlight, involving a young man's pursuit to prevent his girlfriend from aborting their child.
We have so much to look forward to in the coming weeks. You won't want to miss any of these remarkable films in our Life on Film series as we approach our national 25th annual March for Life. Today, I have the great pleasure of interviewing David Scotton, the star of the film I Lived on Parker Avenue. David, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we watch this film, what can our viewers expect without giving too much away?
I Live on Parker Avenue is so special to my family and myself. It shows the real life reunion of my birth parents and my family. It shows so much in such a little time, and it's so powerful, and I hope that you guys will love the documentary.
Excellent. That sounds like an incredible story, and we can't wait to get started. So let's have a look.
Last night I didn't sleep too well. I don't think I slept much at all.
I can't sleep.
I knew that today would be the day that I begin my journey to meet my birth parents.
Hey David, it's Melissa. I really hope I hear from you really soon.
Hey David! I can't wait to see you on Friday. I'm so excited and nervous at the same time.
There's a lot going through my mind right now. How they're gonna react when I'm on their doorstep, and how I'm gonna react when I see them after 19, almost 20 years of always wondering what it's gonna be like. I always did wonder why they put me up for adoption. I did wonder that since the beginning. I just kind of let it out of my mind because I didn't want to be different. I just wanted to fit in with the crowd. Definitely scared of them coming into my life and not fitting into what kind of life I had.
I grew up in Columbus, Indiana. I was a big tomboy when I was a little girl. And I still have a lot of those traits now. So tattoos and the activities I like to do isn't your normal soccer mom, I guess you could say. When I found out I was pregnant and I was, I think, 18, it just felt like a million bricks on top of me, like I couldn't breathe. I did not tell anyone about the pregnancy, not even my parents. I was very scared. I didn't know how other people would react, but the excitement part was there also because the thought of me being a mom, I think every woman likes that.
At the time, I don't think either one of us was working, and there's days that we may go a whole day without eating. Neither one of us was mature enough to take care of a child, and we made some mistakes, and we didn't want the child to pay for it. We went up to the abortion clinic in Indianapolis. And on the way over, it was just quiet, a lot of thinking. Your mind's racing, basically.
I remember all these protesters being lined up. They rush out to protect you from all the protesters. And they put a blanket over my head and a radio here and a radio here and tried to blast the sound away from all the protesters. But as I was walking in, throughout all the confusion and all the noise, I remember this lady saying, "That baby has 10 fingers and 10 toes, and you're gonna kill it." And I remember sitting in the waiting room, get called back, just like any other doctor appointment. I had the gown on, and they had me take a pill. I have no idea what it was. And there was this big silver tray, and it had all of these tools. It almost looked like when you go to a dentist's office, the corners and the sharp edges. And I kept looking over in that cart. I remember the doctor. I would know his face to this day. I remember him walking in, wash his hands, put on a pair of gloves. He sat on a little silver chair. He sat down and scooted across the room. He had me put my legs up in the stirrups. And right as he went to touch me, I said, "I can't do this." And I immediately put everything down, the gown, everything was down, and he just rolls his eyes and rips his gloves off, throws them in the trash can, and walks out the door and left me there. As I was leaving, they don't protect you when you leave. They protect you when you come in. So all those people, when I was walking out, they thought I did it. Can we cut?
When I was 23, I had my first child who the doctors came in and said, "There's something wrong." He lived 12 days. I would get so frustrated with people who said, "Oh, I want a boy, I want a girl." All I wanted was a healthy baby. And got pregnant again very easily. My second son, John David, was born, and he had the same genetic disorder. Everyone expected him to die within 2 weeks, and he lived 2.5 years. So that was the loss of 2 sons that I had. While he was probably 2, my first husband left. I lived with a lot of anger and a lot of disappointment.
You know, when we first met, I could see that she had been through a lot, and I said, I'm gonna make things different.
And we started the adoption process pretty quickly.
December 22nd, 1993. I knew I had to go to the hospital. They actually induced him.
When they tell you the baby has been born and you're just kind of in shock, like it's really happening. Almost forgot to call Susan, you know, because there was so much going through my mind.
Knowing the fact that I wasn't keeping him made it harder.
Jimmy says, we have a boy. And I was a mother. And I said, are you sure? Are you sure? He says, I'm sure, Susan, this is really it. It's really gonna happen.
When they put him in my arms, it was... I didn't want to let go.
So we got in the car and headed to Indiana.
We checked into the hotel, tried to sleep for 4 hours, and we checked out. The same person that checked us in was still at the front desk. He kind of gave us that look like, okay, you were here for 4 hours. And I said, if you only knew.
But they got there really quickly, so I didn't get any time with him. I was so torn. It's like part of me saying, just keep him, just keep him. It's not too late, it's not too late. And the other part of me says, you know, you have to let go.
We walked into the hospital. Our hearts are pounding. And we met with the lawyer. And he took us to meet David.
All I had on my mind was, what is he going to look like?
They had a very nice little setup, a little private room for us that we could meet him. I could hold my son. The ultimate joy of holding your child that every mother experiences, and it's just...
Well, the first time, yeah.
Happy tears were just flowing. We walk out the hospital with our new child in our arms on Christmas Eve, and it starts to snow. It was just the ultimate.
It was like, he's ours.
I knew that I was doing the right thing for him. Not for me, but for him. It's kind of a bittersweet because I wanted him.
David James. Scotton.
Hi there. Say hello. Say hello to everybody.
My life right now is I'm at college and I just live a normal life. I like canoeing and a lot of outdoors activities. If I was never adopted to my parents and grandparents, their lives would not be the same at all. Maybe they would have adopted another child, I don't know. But if they didn't have them in their life, I know their life would be boring.
Make some raspberries, Mom?
Cameron.
Happy
Trick or treat.
Thank you. Oh. Happy birthday to you.
Is David helping you, Dad?
Yeah, he's helping. He can help a lot better in here.
Someone asked David once, when did he find out he was adopted? And his response was, I always knew I was adopted. So he heard it from when he was in the crib.
I think David was about 8 years old when he started asking a lot of questions about his birth parents. And I said, I have a picture. I'll show it to you. And he looked at the picture of them and he said, wow, they look like nice people. And he never asked any more questions. That's all he needed at that point in his life, was to see the picture of them.
David is not one to share a lot of feelings, to know what's going on with him. I would frequently ask him, is this a problem, is this the issue? And he never shared that it was.
I don't want to do anything to possibly disappoint them, because I realized what they sacrificed to have me. And so that's why I'm hesitant to be emotional with them.
A year and a half ago, I contacted Kirsch & Kirsch, the adoption agency, to update my address, phone number, because it'd been a while since I'd done that. And I thought, you know, he's going to be such and such age, and once he reaches a certain age, he can do, if he wants to reach me, he can.
We get a phone call from Kirsch & Kirsch to say that Melissa's interested in an update. Are we interested?
At that point, I freaked out. I got very emotional. I went outside, had to catch my breath. It took me a long time to decide that I wanted to do this, because we had to go through the law firm at first until the contact was mutual. And in my letter, I asked if she was on Facebook, and I asked her to friend me.
And he told me to go on Facebook and look up the video of him, and I about hit the ground. We've kept communication just strictly Facebook, and I wanted more, but I didn't want to push it.
It took a while for me to come in contact with Brian, because there was some initial hesitation from Brian for me to be a part of his life. He realized that he would like to fill in that missing piece of the puzzle.
He came home from work one day, and I think I was cooking dinner, and he immediately came right up to me and he started saying, I got something to tell you, it's very important. And then when he started crying, I knew it was serious. And he said that he has a son.
I mean, I've been carrying this for 20 years. Kind of wondered, you know, does he hate us for giving him up? You know, that's how some people refer to it. I think it's caused a lot of anger problems, depression from time to time. I thought about meeting him, you know, what would I do? What would I say? I'm glad it's finally happening.
And he's the one that got in contact with me. And I started talking to him on Facebook too. At some point, I just realized that I'm in contact with both of them now, and I do want to meet them. I do want to see what life I might have been in. So we went ahead and decided that we were going to meet. It means a lot that everybody came tonight, and it's an exciting time in my life that I think we're all glad that it's happening. I guess I'm realizing now who the significant people are, and who my best friends are, and the best family are. And so I wrote, I have some of these for everybody here.
When he gave us those letters, that was a moment that touched me.
He really can get his feelings down on
He does.
paper.
Just his love
I just saw his love being poured out.
You say, I'm not sure how either of you feels when you think about Melissa and Brian and how I'm not your birth son, and that bothers me sometimes. It doesn't bother me any, like it's irrelevant, and it's wonderful.
I don't think I could love him any different if we were his birth parents. It's like we are.
I can't wait, I'm so excited.
David always loved trains, so I just thought it was a wonderful thing that he was taking a train up to Indiana.
We chose to drive instead because we wanted to reenact our trip 19 years earlier.
My life story has always been different, but I don't want to live my life not ever knowing what might have been. I certainly understand why Melissa and Brian may have considered abortion. I understand that they were not in the position to take care of me. And the most important thing that I can do in my entire lifetime is thanking them for that decision. I'm going on lack of sleep for sure. I didn't think I'd be this nervous, but I definitely am. The nerves are kicking in.
I've waited 19 years to see my son. I'm nervous, but I'm really excited. I want to see what he looks like in person, his voice, his smile, my hug I've been waiting for.
It's 11:04, right? Keep going, keep pulling the driveway. Everybody relax. Let me go first.
It's my turn.
After Melissa and Brian had me, they had another child named Courtney. She's my full-blood sister. Growing up an only child, to find out that I have siblings is incredibly overwhelming. Wait, which one am I?
You're the blue one.
Wait, okay, wait, hold on one second. Wait.
David, go easy on your sister.
Melissa and Brian divorced, and they actually both remarried. And so I had met Sean, Melissa's new husband. After settling down at Melissa's house, I finally had the chance to talk to her face to face.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess I just wanted to first thank you for your decision 19 years ago.
I feel so guilty. I figured he probably hated me when he knew that he was so close to being aborted. I figured he would never want anything to do with somebody like me because he probably thought I was some awful person.
I never liked telling people that I was adopted.
You mad at me?
Never. Like, there are definitely times that I've thought, I wonder whether or not they're thinking about me. And, but that's, for the longest time, that was the only concern that I ever had. Because I had, I have a great life that you allowed me to have.
I knew that I was doing the right thing for him.
Well, thank you. I've had a great life.
I know you have.
It's just an overwhelming feeling, really. You know, how he's going to react meeting us for the first time. Hey.
What's up, Brian? See you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Been a long time.
I know, man. It's good to see y'all.
It's good to see you.
Hey, Presley. How you doing?
David.
How you doing?
Good.
It was kind of awkward, you know, awkward situation. I was shocked about how much he looked like me. I noticed we're similar in personality, kind of quiet, standoffish. But, you know, once you warm up to somebody, he's the same way I am. He kind of comes out of a shell. When I first found out that David knew we'd gone to the abortion clinic, I just, you know, figured he does not like us, period. His outlook's totally different than what I thought. It helps me move on. Now, I notice things at work don't really get to me anymore. There's a lot of load lifted off my shoulders. He turned out good and healthy, and I'm glad he looked like me.
When David left, I couldn't control Courtney hardly that night.
I think Courtney was sad. You know, I was coming home and she was staying home. And it's just a reality that every adoption faces in my situation, and that's what we were facing.
She'll hold it together right now, and as soon as you walk out, she's going, I know what's going to happen.
Just wondering why me? Why was I the one that was saved? It just makes me feel lucky and like I have a mission to do in life. Melissa wanted to show me something she couldn't find 3 months ago while I was here.
Something that's going to be important for closure for both of us.
This is it. This is the culmination today.
Let go of the pen I hold. Let go of everything
To be able to stand on that sidewalk where that lady said, your baby has 10 fingers and 10 toes. It's hard to put that into words. I'm picturing what went on in that clinic. I'm picturing Melissa and Brian like driving up in this parking lot.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
All right. I'm so glad you're here.
Glad I'm here.
Oh.
So this is it?
That's it.
It turns out that the abortion clinic Melissa left 19 years ago has closed, and it's now a county health facility.
It actually brought it back like it was happening again. Like it was happening all over again. I feel sick and happy at the same time because those few seconds, you wouldn't be standing here and I would have killed you. You wouldn't be here. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I felt like a little empowered to be able to say, no, I don't hate you at all. Like it's the opposite. And that really made the world to her too. I brought some people with me that want to thank you as well. They're pulling up right now in that white car.
We had our family members and special people write letters of gratitude to her.
They wanted to thank you for your decision 19 years ago.
Look back on the pages torn.
I didn't really think about it until I was outside that clinic that I had already been there inside Melissa's womb. I'll always be grateful to her for walking out that door and giving me the life that I have today.
The storyline saved just in time. Hey, this is not over, just you wait. The action is
Dear Melissa, David has been like the older brother I never had. He has been there when I needed advice, and every time I see David, I think of how different my life would have been without him. Sincerely, Bailey.
Dear Melissa, without David in my life, I would be a much different person. He has shown me how to stand up for the things that I believe in, and he has encouraged me to break out of my comfort zone. Sincerely, Jason.
Dear Miss Melissa, David is a great man. If you are sad, he's the one to cheer you up. Like when we were at one of the family events and all the other kids didn't want to play with me. David did, even though he was 10 years older than me. Love, Dylan.
Dear Melissa, David is not just a student I once taught. He is now a friend. What you gave to David was life. He now has taken that opportunity and is sharing his gifts with the world. Sincerely, Steve.
You are the strongest among people that live around you, but you don't know it. I hope you never will.
Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed the film I Lived on Parker Avenue. My name is Maeve Roche, and with me is David Scotton, the star of the film. So David, what drove you to pursue the filming of your incredible story, and how did this documentary come about in the first place?
That's a really good question, and it's this story goes back really from when I was born. Right, I was so great. I am just grateful to have birth parents that chose adoption in circumstances that they almost didn't choose, and I never knew who they were. I never had contact. I always periodically kind of wondered, who they were, but it was never frequent. It was never like I was concerned about who my true parents were, because I know who my true parents were, Jimmy and Susan Scotton. And for 18 years, I just knew I was adopted. I knew my birth parents were in an abortion clinic and left and chose adoption. And that's how I was here. And it didn't, other than the random curiosities, nothing really happened until I got a call from my birth mother through the law firm that facilitated my adoption, saying that she was interested in an update. And the beauty of the timing was that it was exactly 1 month after I shared our family story for the first time. And so we decided to write back, and I asked in my letter to her, I said, hey, I have Facebook. I assume you have Facebook too. Feel free to add me on Facebook. And sure enough, she did a few weeks later, and we started talking, we started connecting, and I realized that I had a full-blood biological sister and a half-sister whom I had never met. And for me, growing up an only child, I'd always wanted a sibling. And so it was so exciting. We were starting to talk, and I continued to share our family story around Louisiana. And I shared the story a lot through Louisiana Right to Life. And eventually the story kind of changed, and it's still changing. It changed to, hey, I know them now, and now we're planning to meet. So once we planned a meeting, Louisa Went to Life had a great idea to have it filmed. And I honestly I wasn't about it at first. I thought, hey, I'm a pretty quiet, private person. I'm not sure that I want this kind of reunion film. And I prayed about it a lot and talked to a lot of my mentors, and just realized that we really had a once in a lifetime opportunity to change this culture on adoption, to show how adoption saved my life, and to show how it built a family, to show that it is a viable option to a crisis pregnancy like my birth parents were in. And we decided to let it be filmed. And I think that was one of the best decisions of my life. And I'm so humbled and grateful to be a part of this movement, to be a part of this mission, to reclaim the beauty of adoption. And I believe we're doing that. And I'm just so thankful that it was filmed, that it was created into this documentary, and now it's being used by pregnancy centers across the country. It's being used in, Catholic charities, all kind of adoption agencies, to show the reality of adoption, and to show that, look, adoption is not this magical fairy tale solution, right? It has its problems. It has its, negativity, but the positivity is life-giving. And I think our documentary does a good job of showing all aspects of emotions of an adoption decision. I think that answers your question. I probably talked too much.
No, absolutely. It's such a beautiful, heartfelt story. And it's amazing that we get to see these moments on camera and see it unfold before our eyes. And it really, really is a strong testimony to the power of adoption and choosing life. So it's a beautiful, beautiful story. And David, there's this incredibly cathartic moment in the documentary where you do finally meet your birth mother. We get to see it on film, which is a very rare phenomenon. And, it captures such a real and raw moment. So how is this film that's captured one of the most intimate moments of your life impacted you? What's it like rewatching that scene?
That's a good question. It's a complicated question. It's impacted me in ways that I can't even describe. It has fundamentally changed my life, and I am so grateful to be a part of it, to be a part of this adoption culture and movement, and to see it. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. I've seen it from the very beginning when it was in I don't know what the right word is. I'm not a videographer, but the editing stage, when the documentary was this obnoxious 2-hour documentary that turned into 1.5 hours, and then it was an hour, and then it's 30 minutes. And so I've seen it through all of its stages. I've seen it for the past several years. And I don't know, it's weird to see yourself on there and to see yourself being vulnerable. That's been kind of, I don't know, I kind of don't want to watch it, but I obviously watch it and I love it. But it makes it's just weird is the best way to describe it. It's one thing to see yourself on the screen, but it's one thing to see yourself in one of the most vulnerable moments of your entire life. And I've prayed about this a lot and realized that, look, this is in God's hands. I feel like I'm doing my part here. And I hope that we're able to impact even one person. And I believe we've done that. My birth mother is keeping track. I think we've now had 20 women who have chosen adoption after seeing our documentary that were in similar situations as my birth mother was. One of whom I had the opportunity to meet, and to meet an individual who chose life, who chose adoption because of this documentary, was the epitome of just humility. Like I couldn't believe it. And it has just been so rewarding. And I'm just, again, I feel like I keep saying the same thing, but I'm just so grateful that this resource is a resource and it's out there.
Absolutely. That is amazing. I had no idea that there's been that many women that have been impacted by this personally. So it really is incredible. It's a beautiful, beautiful film. So I have another question for you, David. Your
I
life,
have another answer.
your life was miraculously spared by the grace of God from abortion. Your birth mother had the courage to choose life, and I'm sure that wasn't an easy choice, but she did it, which is amazing. And, towards the end of the documentary, you and your birth mother visited the building, the abortuary, where your life could have ended. So what was this powerful moment like for you? And kind of, was it a moment of healing for both you and your mother to kind of go back to this place and reflect on it?
So going back to the abortion clinic where I almost didn't leave, was, it's hard to put into words. I mean, it wasn't, I guess I was surprised at the feeling. Like for my birth mother, Melissa, it was clearly and understandably so very emotional to realize that, hey, at that point, 18 years ago, I was here and he was here too. He was in my womb. And now 18 years later, I'm out here and so is he. Like it was crazy. And it was very healing for her, I believe, to see just that her decision was a life-giving alternative, that she almost didn't make that decision. And because she did, I'm here. And because she did, this guy's family is here too, with their family. And so I wasn't as emotional about it, to be frank, because it's just something I never really, I just never thought that I don't know, it just kind of happened. We had tried to go find that place while we were there the first time in Indiana, but we had trouble finding it. And we found it a few months later, so we went back. And maybe it has a different impact on me. I just feel like I'd already met my birth mother, like, and to me that was number one. I was never angry at her for going into an abortion clinic. I was never mad. So the abortion clinic aspect of it really wasn't that impactful for me because I had already met the life-giving person who allowed me and left that clinic. But it was very healing for her. And I am so glad that we found that building, that thankfully is no longer an abortion clinic, and that we had that experience together.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's very beautiful. And we're so glad that you're here today. It really is a miracle.
I'm here today too.
But yeah, it was a very touching moment, very powerful moment in the film. And it's great to hear that she was able to seek some healing from that. So moving on, I'm curious about what you're working on now, and how this film has kind of changed the trajectory of your life, and what it has influenced you to kind of pursue.
Yeah, I can't imagine my life without that documentary, without the experience, without the story, because it's so much of who I am. And I feel like it's become my calling. And I think that's what everyone wants. They want to find that calling and they want to find that passion and they want to pursue it and give back. And I feel like I am so excited to what I think I found it. And just the way you've seen God work through the story from day one, it just feels like he's working through this. And to have this resource, to have the experiences, has just fundamentally changed my life. We have, I always wanted to be a lawyer. I am now. And I have been able to incorporate adoption now. I actually, a few minutes ago, just did my first adoption. And so it's a big day for me. And to make it kind of made it full circle, right? But with the documentary, we were able to tour it nationwide. We were able to meet so many people and hear so many other stories that really aren't that dissimilar from mine. And that's been some of the best experiences, is meeting other people and hearing their adoption story and giving them a voice, giving them a platform to share their story. And I'll never forget one of the high schools, and I don't know her name, one of the high schools in California we went to, we showed the documentary, and I came on after, answered some questions that are similar to these. And And I just saw this. It was a big gym. All the bleachers were full, and I just noticed this girl in the corner because I could just tell this film impacted her in an emotional way. And I kept seeing her, like, get up and start raising her hand, and then she put it back down. She did that cycle like 4 or 5 times, and she finally got up and said, for the first time in front of her entire school, that she was adopted. And she had been upset by that. She felt like she couldn't share that. And this film had given her the confidence to get up and be herself and tell her world such a personal, intimate fact about her. And I will never forget that. And there's been countless experiences similar to that. And just to be able to impact somebody on this issue has been so rewarding and fulfilling.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. That's a really, really beautiful story. And it's so great to hear that it even impacts young people too, who are seeing the film as young as high school. So it clearly reaches people across demographics, which is really amazing. And it's so great that you shared this story in this way. And I was so fortunate to be able to watch this documentary and this film. So yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. So I just want to talk a little bit about Life, Mark. So your life story has also influenced another film by the Kendrick Brothers filming company. So Life, Mark, that premieres in the fall of this year. The National March for Life will be hosting an exclusive in-person invite-only premiere of the film on May 10th. Could you perhaps tell us a little bit about your involvement with this film and what attendees can expect without revealing too much?
Life, Mark is an incredible movie. I had the opportunity to see a draft of it. The story is amazing. It is, it's still in its editing phase. I haven't been aware of any details yet of distribution. So we're not really talking about it too much. I think I may be there in person. I think we're working that out. So I'd love to be able to talk more about it in person. But I'll say this: it is going to reach so many people. It is going to continue the I Lived on Parker Avenue message. And it is going to continue that message in a way that we never thought would ever be reached. We had passively made some jokes while we were making the documentary, and we're like, man, what if somebody wants to make a movie after seeing this? And we never thought it would actually happen. And so when I got that call that some people were interested in making it into a movie, it was just incredibly exciting. So I just see this as God working through this story yet again to take it to the next level, to reach people that we never would have reached. I'm proud of what we did, but we could only reach so many people. We were a nonprofit, and I think we've done pretty well, but this will reach far more people than we ever could. So we are very excited that this movie will be able to do that.
Absolutely. We're really, really looking forward to seeing this film and being able to premiere it. It's very exciting, especially after seeing this documentary. I can only imagine how incredible Life, Mark is as well. So that's great. Thank you so much for sharing and being here with us today. I just want to know if you could tell our viewers where they can watch this film on their own time or potentially share it with their friends and family.
So please, if you like the documentary, and I really hope you do, please share it with your family, share it with your friends. It's online. It's online. You can see it for free. We wanted everyone to have it as a resource. We wanted to change hearts and minds on this issue, on the adoption option, and to reclaim the beauty of adoption. And so it's online. It's on ilivedonparkerave.com. It's on YouTube. It's on Tubi TV, which is one of those downloadable programs. It's free, but it's on there. It's cool to watch on there. And I think it's on Amazon as well. And so I hope you go watch it. I hope that you reach out to me if you have questions or comments. For real, I mean, you can reach me on social media. Please add me, ask anything you want, and I hope that this film was able to impact you, and I hope that you join us in our mission to reclaim the beauty of adoption.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, David. What a beautiful testament to the joy of adoption. It really has been a pleasure chatting with you today. God bless you. We're so thankful you're here and you've taken up this mission of adoption and helping other people in those circumstances as well. So be sure to join us for our next Life on Film screening next week on April 10th as we welcome Bruce Marciano, the writer and the director of the film Allison's Choice, the story of a young girl caught in the struggle of an unwanted pregnancy. Alone and afraid, she turns to abortion, where in the waiting room of the clinic, Allison encounters a cast of quirky and comical characters, each with their own brand of wisdom for her young, impressionable life. Little does Allison know that she's about to have an extraordinary visitation from the living God who's come to plead the life of her baby. With the clock ticking, it is a fight for life or death. Tune in next week to see Allison's Choice. Thank you to our sponsors, and good night, everyone.